Good morning. This is for math lesson 116 for Monday, May 4th. Sorry, had to check that out. All right, number one, Evan found 24 seashells. He gave 1/4 of them to his brother. How many did he keep? So this is a two-step problem. Our first one, we need to divide the 24 seashells by our denominator of 1/4 to figure out how much 1/4 is. All right, so I have it written out here, 24 divided by 4. Okay, so I know that 4 can't go into 2, so 4 into 24, 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24 is 6 seashells. All right, now that's how many he gave away. So how many did he keep? So here's our second part to this problem is we go 24 seashells minus 6 will tell us how many seashells he kept. Go ahead and pause the video and figure this out and plug in your answer, and I'll move on to number 2. If 2 oranges cost 42 cents, how much would 8 oranges cost? All right, now there's 2 different ways you can do this. One, we can go 42 divided by 2, and that will tell us how much individual orange will cost. So let's do it this way. So 2 into 4 is 2, and that's 4. We subtract, we get 0. We bring down our 2. 2 into 2 is 2. So now we know that 2 into 2 is 1. Each individual orange is 21 cents. And now we can multiply that by the 8 because we need 8 oranges, and that will tell us how much 8 oranges would cost. So if you want to go ahead and multiply that out and give me your answer, the second way is we have 2 oranges out of 8 equals 42 cents. Okay, so I know that 2, if we reduce this fraction, 2 goes into 2 1 time, 2 goes into 8 4 times. So I have 1/4 of the amount of oranges I need, so I can multiply 42 times 4 to figure out how much I would need. So you can do either one of those problems. Just pause the video, do your multiplication, and plug in the cost of 8 oranges. Number 3, write these numbers in order from greatest to least. So we'll start with the biggest. So we have 7.2, 7 and 7/10, 7 and 3/10, and 7.5. Now the first thing I'm going to do on this is I'm going to write them all as decimals. That will make it easier if we're working with either all fractions or all decimals. So I'm going to change them all to decimals. So we have 2 that are already decimals, so I'm going to leave those. And then we need to change these 2 to decimals. So 7 and 7/10 would look like this. So we have 7 and 5/10, 7 and 7/10, 7 and, this one should be 2/10. Now our last one that we didn't have in there is 7 and 3/10. Now as a decimal, you can clearly see which one is the greatest and which one's the least. So our greatest, so I'm going to start here at greatest and go to least, 7.7, and our smallest is 7.2, and then I'll let you fill in the middle 2. So if we're going our largest to our smaller, 2 will be in the middle. All right, number 4, rename 1/3 and 3/4 using their least common denominator. 1/3 and 3/4 using their least common denominator. So we need to find a similar denominator for these 2. So the easiest way to find a common denominator is just to multiply these 2 together. So, multiply it by each other. So I would times 1/3 times 3/3 equals, and then 3/4 times, I did that wrong. This one would be times 4/4, and this one would be times 3/3. All right, and that will give us a common denominator of 12. So let's figure those 2 out. So 3 times 4 is 12, and 1 times 4 is 4. And then 4 times 3 is 12, and then 3 times 3 is 9. So we'll rename these, and we'll have 4/12 and 9/12 with a common denominator. Now once they're common, actually, once they're common, then we can add and subtract, so that's why we would want to find the least common denominator, because they have to have the same denominator to subtract or add. But we're not doing that right now, but that's our least common denominators. We'll have this one and this one. Okay, number 5. Rename 1/4 and 2/3 by multiplying the denominators. Okay. So I'm actually not going to put equals. So we will do the same thing. We'll find that common denominator by multiplying by those. So it'll be 1/4 times 3/3, or 3/3, and 2/3 times 4/4 equals. All right, so we'll multiply this, and we get the common denominator of 12 on both of them, because 3 times 4, and 3 times 4 is 12. Now we'll go 1 times 3 is 3. And 2 times 4 is 8. So those are our 2 fractions renamed. All right, number 6. We need to follow our correct order of operations and do what's in the parentheses first. All right, so we have 47 and 1400ths minus 3 and 6300ths plus 36 and 3/10. All right, so we'll do what's in the parentheses first. So I'm going to do 36 and 3/10 plus 3 and 6300ths. Now again, when I'm adding and subtracting decimals, I like to add in zeros here to help me keep everything lined up. So 0 plus 3 is 0. 3 plus 6 is 9. Put my decimal. 6 plus 3 is 9, and 0 plus 3 is 3. All right, now we can subtract 39 and 9300ths from 47 and 1400ths. Now, if you look at this like money, if I have $47.14, I'm subtracting $39.93. Now, it's not labeled money, so you don't need to label it, but that's when this would come in handy, is if you're working on a budget and need to add and subtract money. All right, let's go ahead and do 4 minus 3 is 1. We'll need to borrow. This will need to become a 3, and this is 16. Now I just go ahead and continue subtracting that out. That is something you can do on your own. So go ahead and pause the video and finish this problem. I will move on to number 7. Complete the equivalent fraction. 1/2 equals what? 12ths. All right, so I'm looking for half of 12. This is simple. What is 12 divided by 2? That's all. Just 12 divided by 2, plug it in here. All right, number 8. 26 times 307. So I'm going to go 307 times 26. I set it up like this because I put my smallest number on bottom, and we can multiply out. So let's go, that's 6. 6 times 7 is 42. Write my 2, carry my 4. 6 times 0 is 0, plus 4 is 4. 6 times 3 is 18. All right, let's multiply out by 2, and not because it's 20, we're automatically going to put our 0 here, and then just go ahead and multiply by 20. 2 times 7 is 14. Put my 1. 2 times 0 is 0, plus 1. 2 times 3 is 6. Now I have those two numbers. I can go ahead and add them. That's where you come in. I'll let you go ahead and add those two numbers together and plug in your answer. All right, number 9 is a story problem. Go ahead and pause the video till you're ready to go. I will just keep going. Karen is planning a trip to Los Angeles from Chicago for her vacation. She finds the following 2 round-trip flight schedules. Use the information shown to answer parts A through C. All right, so I can't cast it to you, but I'll have you take a look at it. If Karen wants to arrive in Los Angeles in the morning, how much will she pay for airfare? So if we look at the top one, it's when she wants to go to Los Angeles. There's only one that will arrive in the morning, and it will tell you how much that flight will cost. So Go ahead and check that out. And it says arrival city, Los Angeles, in the morning. So it'll ask for that price. B, if Karen chooses the more economical, so the cheaper of the 2 round trips, when is her flight scheduled to land? You'll select an answer. So you'll find the one that is the less money and plug in that flight. There's a 2-hour time difference between Chicago and Los Angeles. About how long does a flight between those cities last? So if I look up above, she'll leave Chicago at 6:11. Let's go the other way. She's going to leave Los Angeles at 6:39, and she's going to arrive in Chicago at 12:29. Now it says about how long does the flight last. And it has answers for us, so we need to just say about. It's an estimate. So if we go 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Now, I'm just going to count those minutes as close enough. So here's our mountains. So we have 1 mountain, 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours, 6 hours. But there's that 2-hour time difference. So let's go 6 hours minus 2 hours. So about how many hours does a flight last from Los Angeles to Chicago? So go ahead and plug in your answer. And that's all for today. We only have 9 problems, but number 9 has 3 parts to it. But go ahead and check those out. If you have any questions, send me an email and we'll talk to you soon.